Well, what is up, boys and girls? It's your boy EROCK. So, one more game to go in the 2014 NFL season. The NFC and AFC championship games are done. Congratulations to the Seattle Seahawks and the New England Patriots. And all I'm going to say about that is, let's go Hawks. Because I can, that's why. And screw you, Boston. You know why? You guys have had your fill. You bitched and you moaned up until about 2001 about we never win anything. And then what happens? There are 14-year-olds, right? Freshmen in high school that have been alive long enough to see 8 different championships by their city. You guys have had your fill. Let's go Hawks. But this time of year, you know, NFC championship game, I start to, let's put it this way, reflect a little bit. And I start to reminisce, especially on days like today, because today is January 19th, and it just so happens that it's my birthday. Yeah, it's my birthday. Getting old. Turning 33, going on, I don't know, 55. But that's what happens when you're an Eagles fan or a Philadelphia sports fan at all. You know, the stubble, it's all gray now. You can't see it because it's in black and white, but it's hidden very well. Hair's starting to turn a little gray. Whatever hair's left on top of my head is starting to turn gray, right? Because the human body's not supposed to withstand the pressure of being a Philadelphia sports fan, all right? It's unhealthy. You pull your hair out, you're 3 seconds away from having an aneurysm, your blood pressure's through the roof. I mean, the human body was not meant to take Philadelphia sports. Getting old, age 33. I'm already starting to see lines on my face. You see this? You see this wrinkle right here? Yeah. That's permanently there. My fiance calls it my WTF wrinkle. You know why that is? Because every time I'm watching the Eagles, I'm like, what the fuck is going on over here? And boom, now look at me. It's permanently there. It's stuck there. The WTF wrinkle. But you see, guys, I'm getting somewhere with this because not only is it my birthday, January 19th, but on this very exact date in 2003, one of the greatest tragedies in Philadelphia sports history since the passing of Jerome Brown happened exactly right where I'm standing right here. The 2002 NFC Championship game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The last game at Veteran Stadium. It's one of the most memorable moments in my Eagles fandom. Not because it was the last game at the Vet or it was our best chance of going at the Super Bowl, because that day just happened to be my 21st birthday. And it is exactly that. It's a tragedy. It is a friggin' tragedy. To this day, I still haven't gotten over that loss. I can't understand how you lose that game. I mean, let's put it into some perspective. Let's put it into perspective of what we see from the Eagles right now. All right? This team's got no secondary. That 2002 team, right, with Doc back there, with Bobby back there, with Troy Vincent back there, who are they? Who is Brad Johnson passing the ball to? How did we lose this game? You're talking about a Tampa Bay team that hadn't won in the cold. I don't think ever. If it was below freezing, they weren't winning outdoors. How did we lose that game? I mean, we had Donovan McNabb, Deuce Staley, one of the most dominant offensive lines in football. John Runyon, Trey Thomas. I know the Buccaneers defense was good, but how the fuck did we lose that game? And I don't remember much about the game, to be honest with you. I remember the kickoff. Brian Mitchell taking that back quite a ways. I remember Deuce scoring, and I just remember this overwhelming feeling that on the last game at Veteran Stadium, for my birthday, the Eagles were going to the Super Bowl. And it just never happened. And the only other thing I remember besides that, fucking Rondé running down the sidelines. You never seen 70,000 people be that quiet in your life. That play happened, you could hear a pin drop. And it was over. Goodbye, Veteran Stadium. Goodbye, 2002 season. And really, when you look at that whole Andy Reid, Donovan McNabb era as a whole, it's a tragedy that they didn't win at least one during that time. It's a tragedy that the front office never surrounded Donovan with the tools, the wide receiver tools necessary to win a Super Bowl. And when we did, we went to a Super Bowl, lost it. But the following year, we couldn't keep that guy happy, so we just flushed it down the toilet. No, Donovan's throwing the friggin' Todd Pinkston and James Thrash, Torrance Small and Charles Johnson, friggin' Freddie Mitchell. I mean, that's what we had to deal with. It's a tragedy that they never put the weapons around Donovan. It's a tragedy that Andy Reid Andy Reid was one of the best six-day coaches in the NFL. Dude could make a game plan. Dude was an excellent coach like Monday through Saturday. When it came to Sunday, I mean, even the Patriots will tell you when we played them in the Super Bowl, they were shocked at the clock management. The guy could not make in-game adjustments. It's like he had a mental blockage. That part of his brain was not developed or something like that. But that game, that NFC championship, last game at the Vet, that was by far the biggest tragedy, because if you go back and look at it, right, let's say we beat the Rams in our first NFC championship game. Well, then we just walk right into that buzzsaw that is, Tom Brady and Bill Belichick and the start of that dynasty. If we go on to beat the Panthers, right, first season down at the Link, if we go on to beat the Panthers, who are we playing again? Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, and I am convinced that Andy Reid was never going to beat them. Okay? Then we go and we lose the one in Jacksonville, and even if we beat the Cardinals, right? What was that, 2009? We were really going in there and beating the Steelers, but during that 2002 run, we could have beat the Oakland Raiders. Tampa Bay kicked the crap out of the Oakland Raiders. And if we were to move on to that Super Bowl like we were supposed to, we would have won. We'd be having a ring right now. We would have had our parade down Broad Street. But we didn't. How do you lose that game? And I'll tell you a funny story real quick, because the sun's starting to go down and I gotta go. I'll tell you a funny story. One of my most vivid memories out of that game was not during the game, it wasn't before the game, it was after the game. Because if you remember, Veteran Stadium was kind of built where it had those zigzag ramps, like you had to go like down and then cut and then go back and then cut and go down. It was all zigzag. So my grandfather, at the time, was diagnosed with cancer, bone marrow cancer. And so we had to kind of like help him up and down this ramp. Well, usually he's telling me to slow down. He's got his hand on my shoulder. He's telling me to slow down because I'm walking too fast for him. But after that, at the end of that game, I mean, I can't feel my feet. So I'm walking just as fast as he is. And nobody's talking. Nobody's saying anything. Everybody's as quiet as a zombie. We're just looking at the back of the head of the person in front of us, and we're just walking. And we're just walking down the ramp. And then we walk down the next ramp. And nobody's saying a word. Nobody's saying anything. There's no, this is bullshit. There's no, how could they lose? Nobody's saying anything. It's as quiet as a church, and everyone's just walking down this ramp. When all of a sudden, I start hearing above me, like, people are cheering. Well, what the hell would anybody have to cheer about? What? They just lost the game. The last game at Veteran Stadium. We're not going to the Super Bowl. Why would anybody be cheering? But as we started walking, the cheering started getting louder and louder and louder. And slowly but surely, it came down to us. Now, by that time, we were at the top of the ramp, facing the exit, and there was a line of Yellow Jacket security guys. Well, what had happened was this guy, drunken, I'm assuming, had commandeered himself a beer cart and was sliding down the ramp, down, in this beer cart. And as he would go down the ramp, the people would catch him, turn him towards the other down ramp, and push him down. And then those people would catch him and then push him down the ramp again. So by the time he got to us, we were last ramp there. And there was this line of security guards just standing there. with their arms folded, looking real tough. And this guy looked at them, and they were looking at this guy, and it was like almost like one of those westerns where you can hear that wah wah wah, woo woo woo. It was like a showdown. So the guy takes a running start, hops on the cart, rolls down, and all the security guards, all they did was this. They just moved aside. That's the most vivid memory I have of that game, is somebody riding out of Veterans Stadium on a beer cart. The other thing I remember is sneaking a knife in the Veterans Stadium. I know you're not supposed to do that. They didn't want you stealing anything, but, you know, I took something. It was my season ticket. It was my seat, so I decided I was going to take the number plate right off the back of it. So for those of you who don't know where Veterans Stadium was, you're standing on it. You're standing on it right here. If you ever go to the Phillies game and park right out in front, this is where Veterans Stadium used to be. That's where the Spectrum used to be. And this is where the last game took place, and one of the biggest tragedies of all Philadelphia sports. And I still have not gotten over it. Got my nameplate, though. My number plate for my seat. Damn. Happy birthday to me.